Super quick, guys. If you guys are interested in any Kia models at all whatsoever or any pre-owned vehicles, come check out Rickcase Kia at Sunrise, Florida. They have a lot of good deals going on, including a nice warranty package. Obviously, with Kia models, you can go all the way to 200,000 mile warranty if you like. So if interested, come check out Kia at Rickcase. Hybrids has started to grow throughout the entire market, such as the Toyota Prius, but obviously with the second generation Kia Niro, this has significantly improved with technology that I am about to show you in the inside of the interior. So, sitting in the inside of the Niro. So, I like to stay a little bit quiet with this since this car is obviously hybrid. It's more quiet. But sitting in the inside of this Niro, I love how they improved this interior comparing to the last one. I've had some experience with the Niro from the last generation, and I absolutely fell in love with that thing because of how efficient it was. It was also quite spacious, and it looked okay. This look in the exterior, it's to each their own, but it doesn't look entirely that bad. It's definitely improved, and it does have a lot of aerodynamic improvement comparing to the last generation. It's a lot more stable apparently in the highway and everything like that. So I overall like the design of the exterior of Niro. Now, talking about the interior, you do have these two weird looking screens up in the front. It's similar to how majority of other manufacturers are doing it, especially now since Kia, every single model, they have the dual screens and stuff, but this one is designed pretty interestingly. Obviously with the dash layout and everything like that, this is more of like a EV car that's saving the environment. That's kind of like the purpose that they're trying to go here. So obviously with that, they used a lot of recyclable materials in here that is quite interesting. For one, you do have some soft touch plastics around here, which I do appreciate. You have this weird material here in the armrest that I'm not entirely the biggest fan of since it kind of rubs against my elbow a weird way. But like once you kind of lay on it and you have a certain position that you're laying on it, it's not as terrible. What I also do like is you do have a lot of switches here, and you're also able to fold your mirrors, which is something interesting. I haven't seen that many Kias that have that feature. And you obviously do have two-way memory seats. You also do have your automatic windows here. The back ones are not automatic though, so I just wanted to point that out there. Not a big deal, but the front ones, they are automatic. So just keep in mind of that. What you also do have here, just right in the gauge cluster, you do have this weird setup over here where basically it's telling you your RPMs, obviously, and it's telling you your speed. So, and then just right in the bottom, it actually tells you the temperature of your battery. Since obviously this is more of a battery powered car, it tells you the temperature of that. And you also do have your fuel gauge just right on the left. So outside of that, gauge are very clear. It's pretty nice. It's pretty neat. And you also do have your normal standard 12-inch screen. Functions the same exact way as every other Kia that I've seen, but what this one has that not all of the other Kias have is a little hybrid icon where it actually tells you your flow and everything like that. It tells you information about the vehicle and stuff, and you can even have your GPS set right there and seeing how efficient you are with your Niro. So it's pretty nice. And talking about efficiency, I do want to point out this. You do have a hybrid, and then you have a plug-in hybrid Niro. Obviously, you pick and choose which one you want more. Me, preferentially, I would go for a normal hybrid model, but we're going to talk more about the powertrains and stuff here in a little bit once I get into the engine. We're going to jump in the back seat. It's just here in a second. What you also do have is you're going to have your normal AC controls that I have seen in the Sportage. Same exact setup. They're very, very sensitive and everything like that, so I like the fact that it's really good with that aspect. You do have dual zone climate control and everything like that. So outside of that, what you're also going to have right here in the bottom is your starter button here on the left side, and then pretty much after that you're going to have your 6-speed dual clutch transmission here in the middle with heated and cool seats for both the front and back, for both the passenger and driver. So you also do have a heated steering wheel, your electronic parking brake over here. You do have two cup holders here that you could just push in if, let's say, you want to put a bigger cup or you just want to store extra things in there. You can push them in, but if you want to hold your cups, just push them in like that, and it's nice and easy. Center console storage, it's relatively small, but you do have some extra storage right here next to the cups and stuff. So not really the biggest center console in the market, but you know, you do have extra storage in here that you can use. And what I do like is that this one does have wireless charging, USB-A, USB-C, and a 12-volt outlet. So you have many options in here that you can have. So what you also do have that I wanted to point out, starting off with the materials again. With the sunroof, you do have a normal standard size sunroof, and the headliner has this strange material in here that I'm pretty much assuming 100% it's recyclable material. But it's just a weird feeling that you have. I mean, it doesn't feel bad or anything like that. It's just thought it was kind of funny, and I wanted to point that out there. But pretty much that's what you get in the Niro. It's pretty spacious. I love the space in here. The seating position it's a little high for my taste, but it's not like the worst thing in the world. I've sat in, again, worse seating positions. This one just sits a little bit high for me, but for others, it may just sit perfectly. It's not the worst in the world though. I do have plenty of headroom. I still see out very clearly. I can rest my arm here with no issues at all. So I'm perfectly comfortable in here. It sits a little high, but it's something that you kind of get used to over time. Anyways, let's jump in the back seat. We'll talk about the space from there. All right, so now sitting in the back seat of the Kia Niro. This is something that shocked me a lot, but like even the previous model, it actually has quite a bit of space back here. So for one, I have at least a couple inches to like 3 inches of legroom, just depending on where my legs are at, because what you do notice right away, you do have this hard touch material here in the back, but there's also quite a bit of things that are back here, which is, I understand why there's such hard touch plastic. For one, you do have USB-Cs here on the side of the seats. You also do have airbags built in with the seats. So if you're just concerned about any type of safety at all, this car is pretty safe. I mean, it has airbags built into the seat. I don't know how it's engineered or what type of safety that is there for, but it's there. So it's safe, I'm assuming, right? But anyways, talking about that, you do have airbags built into the seats, so that's something that's pretty safe. You also do have some air vents right here in the rear seats, so that's something that you're able to at least cool yourself off and stuff. There's no heated or cooled seats back here. It's to be expected, honestly, especially for the price point that this Niro is at. Given the fact that this is a fully loaded model, it's still under $50,000 significantly, so that's something to just keep in mind of. You also do have some storage compartments here that are kind of strange. I haven't really seen anything like that, but it's there. It stores very well. You also do have this little piece here that I mentioned back with, I believe it was the Sportage. You have this little hanger here that you can actually use for spare groceries and stuff in case you need to hang some extra stuff here on the back seats. So that's pretty cool to have. You also do have it here on top with your oh crap handle over here. You also do have your normal window switch here, and I can basically sit in a pretty decently comfortable position. One thing that I can say about these seats, they have a good amount of plush and they sit great. For me being semi-skinny, semi-wider of a person, I sit perfectly fine. I noticed that the back seats though, they have a little bit of like a lumbar support on me. I'm not a fan of lumbar, so it's not like my taste or anything like that, but it's not terrible. And you also do have an armrest right back here. So we're going to talk about the trunk, and then we're going to talk about the powertrain for a little bit. I want to discuss a little bit about like the plug-in and the normal hybrid so you guys can compare and choose, and then we'll go for a little drive. So with the Kia Niro, you do have a power tailgate. Now, just keep in mind, it may not be an option for the lower trim levels. But anyways, talking about the space, you do have 22.8 cubic feet of space with the seats up. You do also have a fixed flat kit, but with the seats down, you're going to bump it up to 63 cubic feet. So now talking about powertrains in the Niro, you do have three options. The standard, obviously, is going to be the normal hybrid that produces 106 horsepower just with the engine and 195 pound-feet of torque. So it's not a power monster by any means comparing to anything out in the road, but you do also have a plug-in hybrid option as well that produces the same amount of power, but the only advantage that the plug-in hybrid has is that you can go into EV mode and you can drive about 32 miles into EV. So that is the advantage that you get with the plug-in hybrid. However, MPG is going to stay the same. So with the hybrid and the plug-in hybrid, they're going to range between 53 miles a gallon on the city and 54 on the highway. So the Niro has changed dramatically in terms of MPG. So that's something that it has improved significantly. But also talking about the Niro, you do have the third option, which is the EV model. It doesn't have that much power, nor does it have that much. So The EV trim of the Niro has 104 horsepower and 188 pound-feet of torque. So by any means, it is not powerful whatsoever, but what it does have an advantage of is range. 253 miles of range to be exact, which is, for a normal EV, it's not the best, but for something like this, it's pretty adequate. There's some other EVs out there that cost significantly more than a Niro that have about the same amount of range, if not less. So 253 miles for a Niro, it's not terrible. Now, if you are looking for long range or something at least in the means of driving for a far distance, you may want to go for a normal hybrid. But if you do want plug-in power or something like that, you could go for a plug-in hybrid as well. That does have a EV potential of going 32 miles in just electric range. So driving the Niro now that since I'm driving it, like I said before, it does have a little bit of a high seating position for me for my personal taste. However, when I sit inside the Niro, it does have a great position of where I can see everything out. The blind spots are not terrible in this car at all. And with the technology that the car does come with, it does come with a lot of stuff. It's very quiet. Obviously, since this is a hybrid vehicle, you don't really hear the engine as much. And the transfer from the engine to EV, to that transition in general, is very smooth. I can't really tell when the engine is actually transitioning from battery mode to engine at all whatsoever. It's very quiet, it shifts very smooth, and I have to appreciate the fact that Kia actually put a 6-speed automatic in this rather than an eCVT. Most of the Atkinson style hybrids have an eCVT. So comparing to like the Toyota Prius, for example, that has an eCVT. The Honda Insight has an eCVT. Majority of other hybrids, they only have an eCVT. Toyota has always used that. Honda has always used that. Majority of other manufacturers have always used it. Kia and Hyundai, especially in the United States, are the only manufacturer that actually use a normal automatic transmission for their hybrid models. So that's something that I do sincerely appreciate. There is, of course, like the Tundra and also the Tacoma hybrid that are now coming out. Of course, the F-150 hybrid that is out there as well. They do have a automatic transmission, specifically a 10-speed for the Tundra and the F-150. The Tacoma has a normal 8-speed automatic. So there is hybrids out there that are coming with a more standard automatic transmission. I'm not saying that Kia and Hyundai are the only ones that use it, but they are the main ones that have used it for their basic hybrid vehicles. Majority of other companies that use an actual automatic transmission, they're mostly trucks or bigger vehicles in this sense. The Niro does have a normal 6-speed automatic, so it's something that I do sincerely appreciate that Kia has done for the Niro, and they have done a phenomenal job of making sure that it's transitioned very smoothly throughout the output from the engine to how it shifts and everything, and it's flawless of how they've done this. The space and everything like that, it is very comfortable inside this Niro. It's extremely quiet, and as we're finishing up this video, we're going to get to closing. I've always had a little heart with these little Niros, and it's not to say that I would want a hybrid myself as a car enthusiast, but after having one for about a week, not this particular one, the previous generation as a loaner before, I've instantly fell in love with these things. From the fuel efficiency to the refinement and everything, the previous generation was great, and now the second generation has improved dramatically when it comes to interior quality, refinement, quietness, smoothness. Overall, it has improved a lot. So if you are looking for a hybrid and you also want something a little bit more standard of a feel to a car, give the Niro a shot and check it out. I would highly recommend it. Until next time.